Hi, I'm Brent Johnson, and today we've come to Independence, Missouri. We're on the campus of the Community of Christ here in Independence. We came here before. They have two buildings with two magnificent pipe organs in them, and we're going to go see the second one today in the building behind me, the Peace Temple. Now, this houses a Casavant organ from 1992. Jan Kraybill is the organist here, and we're going to go in and have her introduce us to this instrument. Well, we're here at the console with Jan Kraybill once again here at the Community of Christ. This is an amazing Casavant organ here.
It is.
How many ranks do we have in this room?
102 ranks.
102, so a big organ. And I said 92, that's when they began construction. When did it finally?
1993.
So was it when dedicated in 93?
Yes.
Okay. And this was a product of Mr. Obetz.
It was.
Correct? Tell us about John Obetz.
So John Obetz was an amazing person. He became famous pretty much across the United States and Canada with a program called the Auditorium Organ, which was broadcast from across the street from here, a big Aeolian Skinner of 113 ranks installed in 1959. That program was heard by thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, including me when I was young. In 1992, this temple was finished and the organ was beginning to be installed. It was completed in 1993. This was a product of John Obetz. The previous organ was a product of Harold Gleason, Bethel Kanoki, Catherine Crozier. This was Casavant and John Obetz and Jean-Louis Coignet, who was the tonal director for Casavant at the time. It was a product of them, and the amazing architecture here. Of course, you know, they say that the most important stop in any organ is the room. Well, here is a room. It's amazing.
It is a fantastic room. And the organ, the Aeolian Skinner across the street, we did visit that about a year ago.
Yes, you
and
did.
If you'd like to see that video, there's a link up here in the corner or down in the description. A completely different kind of instrument, really.
Of course. So to have them across the street from each other is truly amazing. When I was a student, it was like, okay, you're doing French literature, let's go to the Casavant. You're doing Baroque literature, let's go to the auditorium.
Well, and once again, we're hot on the tails of your Super Bowl Sunday recital, where once again you've steered the Kansas City Chiefs towards winning the Super Bowl this year.
Third
so
year, and
it must start here.
Exactly, it must start here. I and the audience are their good luck charms, I think.
So wonderful. But yeah, and you had a lot of people here on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah,
right?
about 500.
500 people for an organ recital on a big. That's just amazing to consider and fantastic to hear. This instrument, I'm just looking at the names. It looks very French.
It is.
We have French division names, so from a Casavant that would be expected, especially for the period. So I know you give tours of this instrument a lot, and how do you like to show this instrument off?
Well, it depends on who the tour is for. So a lot of times we will get tourists here who have no idea about what a pipe organ can do, and so I'll usually start with something big like the trumpets and then go from there. But since this I know is a discerning audience and very well versed in organ literature and organ stops in general, I think we'll start in a more traditional way.
Okay.
And we'll just start with the principal choruses on each of the divisions.
Okay, very good.
So there are choruses based on 16 on each of the divisions. So here is the Montre 8, the principal 8 on the Grand Orgue. If I add 4 to that, and 2 to that, and if I go down now to 16, and now I can add one of two mixtures. Here's the lower mixture. here's the upper mixture. So,
Yeah, that lower mixture is still 4 to 5 ranks,
Yes.
and then the cymbal on top of it, 4 more ranks. It's not extremely bright for as much as I was expecting for that many ranks of mixture there.
yes, and especially because of this room, it's
You don't need it to be this.
yeah, don't need it to be huge. Okay.
And some of that's in the facade, I take it, out here, or is that all
None
pedal
of
out
that.
here?
Yeah, that's all
Okay.
pedal and resonance.
That's what I thought, okay.
So yeah.
And this is mechanical action.
It is.
You didn't mention that. All of
That's
this
right.
is hidden behind this beautiful case.
Yeah.
And I can hear the great ears right up above us and in front of us, I believe.
That's right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, let's keep going. Where do we go from there?
Okay, so the Positiv right in front of us is, here's the principal. The 4-foot Preston. Two-foot Carte de Nazard. And if I add this very strident here at the console, but wonderful in the room, this mixture. I'm going to take the Nazard off, and I've just got Principal 8, 4, and this plein jeu. So when we're rehearsing here, that is a mixture that is very present right here and can soon become quite irritating. But out in the hall, oh my gosh, it adds this crispness and clarity and brilliance to the ensemble.
And I
It's
imagine
amazing.
if you couple that to the grate, then that does to your grand orgue, that will definitely brighten up that ensemble
Exactly,
as well.
exactly.
Yeah, definitely in front of our faces here. That feels very
right here.
very present. But this is a big room to fill up. So
That's right.
I can see.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So then, if I go to the Recit or the swell division, here's the Principal 8. So here at the console, that feels rather distant. It's 40 feet above our heads, but when it sails out into the room, it's very present. So that's one of the challenges of a tracker instrument of any kind, is you're very close to some pipes and far away from others. Here's the 4-foot octave on top of that. And the 2-foot octavin on top of that. And there's a plein jeu here. And if I go down now, there's the 16-foot bourdon here.
It's a lovely full course. It does feel like it's in another room down
It
here.
does,
'Cause it's
yes.
so high up above our heads.
Yes,
but-
and the boxes are open.
Yeah,
The boxes
that's-
here are very effective, and so I can make that all get softer, which feels too soft here, but does not there.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
All right.
And then I've got a resonance division.
Yeah, explain the resonance.
Yeah, the
division.
resonance division is basically an extension of the pedal. So it's huge scale, and it can be used as a solo division, but I also sometimes use it as an extra division. Sometimes John Obetz would call it a super great. So you could use the grand orgue as the secondary and this resonance, because it's so huge, as
So these are
the
just the
primary.
pedal stops, but they're continued up the keyboard.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
great.
So this is the Principal 8. Here's an octave 4. I've got a grand furniture here that goes with the 16. Actually, I should show you the 16 first. So this is 16, 8, and 4 principals on the resonance. And the grand furniture meant to go with the 16. And I've also got a plein jeu here. And believe believe it or not, I've got a 32-foot principal on the manual here, and that sounds like this in conjunction with all of those. When I got here and I saw that, I thought it was nothing but a cheater stop. I thought, well, if you can't play something with your feet, you just play with your hand up there.
Yeah, sure.
But I use that for internal stanzas of hymns more often than I ever thought that I would.
Interesting.
Yeah, that registration is just quite wonderful and very clear out in the room.
Well, from right here, I can tell it's over on the side a little bit. It's not. It doesn't seem to be much bigger than the grate, at least standing where I am. Maybe out there, it comes across. So, but I can see how that'd be useful combining then with your other grade stops and even some others. So that's a lot of color, a lot of principal color in this organ, a lot of variety that you can pick from. Okay, well.
All right, shall we look at flutes?
Let's try the flutes next.
Okay, so here's the Grand Orgue again, the 8 flute à cheminée. And 4. On the Positiv, right in front of us, we have a very clear flute. And 4. And that Court de Nazard that I talked to you about before is basically a flute stop. Do a gapped registration.
Very nice.
Yeah. On the Recit, there's a corde nuit. And it's 4. I've also got a flute douce. You put that under expression. It can just basically disappear from the room, and it's got a celeste that goes with it. Love that sound.
That's lovely, yes.
Love that sound.
All right.
And then on the resonance, I've got both a flute harmonique and a flute majeur. So here's the flute harmonique. But if you get tired of that, there's the flute majeur. And sometimes you can use them with each other, and they work very well. Again, with
some of those stops with those colors, and then they're kind of a solo division up there. Almost. They're coming out as solo stops. When most of it's chorus work, but you do have some reeds and colors in there. So
yes, exactly. And that also, those flutes go down to 16 and 32 in the resonance. So I don't use the 16 and 32 there as much as I do with the principal chorus, but they are there and they are usable. All right, do you want to hear them?
Yeah, let's hear them.
Okay, so here's the 16 by itself. And if I go down to the bottom of the range, and then here's the 32.
Now, do those go all the way down, or are they
all the way down?
All the way down to C. So you're just.
Yep, you can barely hear it,
sure.
but it's down there. It's down there.
Indeed. All right.
All right. I want to talk about mutations because I love teaching at this organ for the number of mutations it's got. So on the Grand Orgue, there is a cornet. So it's typical cornet. Mounted cornet. On the Positiv, you can build a cornet, but it's décomposé, and it's got, oh my goodness, it's got so many.
Lots.
So if I just read these off, I've got a 2 2/3, a 1 3/5. Those are pretty typical. I've got a 1 1/3, and a 1 1/7, and an 8/9. Yeah. So if I want to talk to students about what a mutation does and what pitches they play, so here is middle G. On the 8-foot bourdon, here's the 2 2/3. Here's the 1 3/5. Here's the 1 1/3. Here's the 1 1/7. And here's the neuvième, the 8/9. So you can combine those in all sorts of different ways and come up. That's 8, 2 2/3, 1 1/3. Here's, I take off the 1 1/3 and put on the 1 3/5. Put back the 1 1/3. Add the septième, the 1 1/7. Take off the 1 1/3 and 1 3/5. Here's the neuvième with that combination. It's just amazing.
Yeah, just play with that all day until you find the exact color you're looking for.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Yes. On the Recit, then, I have a caron, and which is basically a mixture with some off-octave stops there. But on the resonance, there's a grand tierce, which you would never play by itself. Here it is, yeah, it's 3 1/5, yes. And so here is it with the principal 8 and 4. And it's really intended to go with the 16, so here it is with the 16. There's also a harmonique, a 2-rank, and there's a mounted cornet. So, yeah, it's just an embarrassment of riches.
What two pitches are we getting with the 2-rank harmonique?
You tell me.
No, I wish I could.
I wish I remembered.
We're hearing the flat third, and then is it a 7th in there?
It might be a 7th. I think it, yeah.
7th or 9th. One of those two. Anyway.
Yeah. This is a test.
It's a unique sound. Either
It
way.
is a unique sound. I don't remember what 2 pitches those are. And speaking of unique, on the pedal, there is something called a théorbe, which I've never figured out why it's called that, because there is a musical instrument called that, and this doesn't sound anything
no, it's
like
completely
that.
different.
Yes.
But it's a thing Casavant has used more than once.
Yes.
We've seen it on more than one Casavant organ.
Yes, exactly. So here on the pedal is 16 and 8, principal 16 and 8. Adding the théorbe. And if you take it by itself, name these pitches. So 3rd and a 7th. Yeah. So, yeah.
Meant to duplicate the effect of a 32-foot reed underneath the flute. So by itself, it's kind of an odd sound, but I think with the rest of the chorus, it must add a lot of color and energy. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah,
speaking of reeds,
a lot of things to blend just there. Even before we get to the reeds and those colors, you can get reedy sounds.
Exactly.
Out of
yeah. One of the things I always demonstrate on this organ is so here is 16. I mean, sorry. Well, yeah. Let's go 16. Why not? 16, 8, and 4 principal, plus the grand tierce, plus the harmonique. And people always swear that I'm playing reeds by that point.
I think there's a buzzy little Baroque reed in there.
There is no reed in sight. It's just 5 wonderful stops.
Amazing. All right. Well, yes. Let's talk about the real reeds then.
Okay. So on the trumpet on the grand, the trumpet on the grand orgue is this, and I've got it at 16. And I can beef it up with the cornet if I want some kind of a tuba. All right, so that's the grand orgue. On the Positiv, the one reed that I've got is a crumhorn, which sounds really buzzy here and is. It's French, but I can make a clarinet out of it if I combine it with the Bourdon 8 and put it under expression. So that's nice to be able to do that. On the Recit, I have an oboe. And again, that sounds very far away from here, but it sails out into the room.
Is the box open there?
Yes. Oh, sorry, the box is not open. Still sounds a little distance. All right, I've got a voix humaine. And if I put that with an 8-foot flute and the tremblant. And close the box.
Very nice.
And then these fiery reeds. So 8-foot trumpet harmonique. With the 16-foot basson. And the 4-foot clairon harmonique. That's pretty
a lot
wonderful.
of sound.
That's right. And I've got reeds on the resonance too. So these are big. And I have those at 16 and 4 as well. So this is 16, 8, 4 reeds. That's not all. I still have the trompette en chamade at
topper chamade.
Yeah, right up here.
Right.
And so I've got them at 8 and 16. So here's 8. And here's 8 and 16.
It's quite the sound there.
It is quite the sound, yes.
Yeah, it makes an impact. It's interesting here, just though how different it sounds than out in the room.
Yes.
Definitely, because it's such a big space here, a big space to fill, but the organ is spread out. It's just kind of amazing to hear like how bright those are, but how soft those swell reeds are.
Yeah.
But I've heard them out there, and they all fill their space really well.
That's right. So when I have guest organists here, what I love to do is sit out there, which I hardly ever get to do, and just hear the organ and experience it from the congregation seats, because it is a very different experience from right here at the console.
Now our resonance is all pulled from the pedal division, so we've heard most of these. But tell me how the stops are used in the pedal division.
Okay, so down in the pedal division, I've got a principal 16, 8, and 4, and a mixture. Now, some of the stops are just in the pedal. I should have been more clear about that. So, some of them are extended into the resonance where it makes sense. Some of them are not. The mixture on the pedal is not extended. So here is 16, 8, 4 mix. I can go down to 32. That one is extended into the resonance. And if I want to add the theorbe to that, I've got reeds. So the bombard is from the Grand Orgue. The basson is from the Recit. But I've got some that are, well, here's the contraband. So if I want reeds at 32, 16, 8, and 4, it can make quite a noise.
Very nice.
Yes.
A very powerful division there to compete with the rest of the organs.
Yes,
so.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael Quimby. He's president of Quimby Pipe Organs in Warrensburg, Missouri, and you take care of this instrument.
Yes, we do.
How long have you been involved with this organ?
2 years.
Okay, so you know more about it inside and out. Any special challenges in this room or with tuning this instrument or keeping it functioning?
It is very reliable, very stable. As long as the temperature is stable around 68 to 70 degrees, it's very well behaved. It's had some unusual experiences this winter.
Oh, really?
With at a time when the chillers?
Yes, the air handlers.
Air handlers shut down and it got down to 48 degrees.
Oh my
in
goodness.
here.
What does that kind of change in room atmosphere do to an instrument like this?
Well, on this one, Jan was very wise. The temperature was brought up very, very slowly.
Okay, so if it's what happens if it's too fast? You can just
Wood pipes, you could have splitting, you could have cracks, you could have all kinds of things. You could have tuning slides get out of
just
kilter.
that instant change. in
Instant
temperature.
changes.
Okay.
Very bad for pipe.
I imagine
organs.
humidity fluctuations are an issue too. Well, it's good. I'm glad it made it through the winter.
It made it through the winter just fine.
Well, and I understand it's kind of a crowded, compact situation in there.
Yes, the swell is very, well, it's not difficult, but you have to be very careful.
Okay. Well, the instrument sounded fantastic today.
Thank you.
So thank you for all your hard work in keeping this instrument going, and I can't wait to hear more of it and see a little bit about how it works.
It's very, very reliable over its lifespan.
So these are the windows behind the organ case. So you can see the bottom and the scaffolding. I talk about how you tune a reed with the wires, and I talk about the difference between a supply pipe, air supply pipe, and an actual sounding organ pipe. And I talk about the scaffolding that you'll never see out there, but how the entire thing has to be very carefully built. And then the trackers. So to be able to explain to people how much they move or how much they don't move. So I show them the wear marks on the actual trackers. So you can see that it only moves 1/4 of an inch, but that those mechanical connections are the basis of the organ, and how Johann Sebastian Bach would have known this kind of technology. So I love that the organ world is full of old and new technology. And then talking about how an organ breathes. So supply pipes going to various reservoirs that control the air pressure. Then over to the right, you can see a speaker that has nothing to do with the organ, has everything to do with the PA. So when I speak to the audience, that is in play, but when I play the organ, that has nothing to do with it. And then I also like to show people how high up we are in the room. So you can see out to the audience seats, and the room is deceptively large or deceptively small. It's deceptive anyway. This wooden pipe is just a demo pipe, so pay no attention to that. It doesn't come from this organ. I find them in antique stores. They're usually labeled train whistles. From here, we can climb this ladder and go to the Positiv, and I can open those doors. We can climb up one more level and go to the Grand Orgue. So, behind these doors are all of the stops of the Positiv division. So you can see a classic layout, but also across the top. And there are some over there on the sides.
off to the sides of the Positiv chest, we see the pedal reeds, which actually extend below where we are now and continue on up higher than this level. And we continue across, go back to the ladder, and we're going up to the Grand Orgue level.
So we're on the third level of the organ. We've come up past the Positiv. We're now on the level of the Grand Orgue and parts of the resonance. One of the things I love to show people is this composition of this flute. So in the same rank, you've got straight flutes, capped flutes, couple flutes, and then behind it you've got the flute harmonique with the holes in the middle of the pipes. I just like looking at all of that. Behind us is the pedal flute. Of course, in addition to the trackers that are right behind here, you have the latest in technology, all sorts of wires and communications that are essential to us all. And then these are the big trumpets in the resonance division. And then just take special note of the ladders that go way up the backs of the 32-foot montre. I don't climb those ladders. More pedal and resonance, actually.
Here we see the 32-foot reeds that we saw down below off to the side of the chamber. And again, continuing all the way up to the top of the chamber with some pedal open back here behind it.
And I like to show people this too. So imagining what happens at the console when you pull a stop. So it activates a solenoid here, which activates a slider, which has holes in it that line up to the bottoms of the pipes. And that is what allows a rank of pipes to be ready to sound. And then you put a finger down on a key and that sound happens. So. Okay, and then we can go through here.
Now we've gone up a level, and you can see there's the pedal and resonance division over on the right side of the organ, looking down at it. We were down there earlier. And from here, there's still a ladder going up. That takes us up to the swell division, so up the ladder we go. Here we are now a level higher, and the swell door is open, so we step in and we see a very interesting swell chamber. Lots of flying walkboards. To get to those pipes, you actually have to go across, down, and then back up to the walkboard to reach all of those. Fortunately, the reeds are easy to get to back here at the back of the chamber. And we have some wardens there on the ceiling. It looks like their wind chest may be on top of the swell box. But after here, we go all the way back down to the hallway level where we first entered the organ, and we go into another door that's on the other side of the Positiv.
All right, so now we're on the other side of the Positiv.
We can see more of the little reeds on this side. And from here we go down. This takes us to the console level. And now we are behind the console. We can see the tracker runs, which are all encased. The roller board for the Positiv, which is directly above us. And then Jan is opening the roll top, or closing the roll top rather, so it opens in the back and gives us a look at the back of the console. See all of the drawn up controls, trackers from the keyboards. And here we have coupler mechanisms, running the coupler stack. other side, we see the memory system for the combination action. And all of the wiring for that. Slider motors that run the couplers. And a tremolo hanging down here. On our way out, we walk past the bottom of the 32-foot reeds. See them going all the way up. We've seen them at 3 different levels now. It hasn't really had any changes or anything done to it since its installation, has it?
It's totally original.
Okay, well,
No tonal changes at all.
that makes for a boring story, but okay. Sad they got it right the first time, huh?
Well, it's just that nobody has come along, and Jan has accepted the instrument as it is, because as we know, some organists like to go in and change things.
So, I can't think of anything I would want to change on this instrument. Everything seems to be really functional.
It works very well in the space.
If there's a stop you don't like, there's another one that'll probably fill in for it. So, yeah, a lot to choose from. So
Definitely.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed the tour of the Casavant organ here at the Peace Temple in Independence, Missouri. My thanks to Jan Kraybill for her time today, and also to Michael Quimby, who showed us around the instrument. If you would like to find out more about the Community of Christ and this organ, there's a link down in the description, and of course there is a link to the video that we made in the auditorium of the Aeolian Skinner organ there. If you haven't seen that, you'll want to watch that. Jan did a great job showing us that instrument as well. If you like these, then make sure you're subscribed to our channel, because we have more videos coming out from somewhere in the world. Thank you for following us along on our trip to Kansas City. I'm Brent Johnson. Thank you for watching.